Dr. Umar, all in one spot with the Notorious CGA. Okay, let's get back into this Diddy case. All right, Dr. Umar defends Diddy. Let's set it up. First and foremost, Suge Knight commenting on the arrest of Puff Daddy Diddy. He says, Suge Knight claims that the FBI slipped Ben Affleck the tapes of J-Lo from Diddy's raid, which resulted in their divorce. Oh my. Suge Knight, the former record exec and felon, they say, thinks J-Lo and Ben Affleck's rumored split is due to her being in the FBI seized tapes from the raid on the Diddy house. On his prison podcast, Collect Calls with Suge Knight, he says these tapes include footage of J-Lo from the 1999 nightclub shooting, where she allegedly lied to protect Diddy in framing the rapper Shyne. We're going to talk about him in a bit. Knight believes Affleck now has these tapes straining their relationships. Amidst Diddy's facing new allegations, rumors about Affleck and Lopez's breakup have been swirling, with Affleck reportedly moving out to his Beverly Hills home. That is an interesting angle that Suge Knight is out there having. I don't know if he has inside information or if he's just bullshitting. Is he an agent of chaos? You know, they have agents of chaos out here that basically throw people off the scent. They're designed to jump up on social media and paid and propped up by the you-know-who's. They become a puppet. And so what happens is they will throw information out there to lead you astray. Obviously, Suge Knight did the same thing in the Tupac shooting. He certainly was an agent of chaos. He knew the information. He never told it. And he allowed people to run with stories, even framing himself in order to protect the real story. All right, so who believes that? It's possible. All right, it's possible, but we don't know if that's true. All right, so let's go to the next part of the story. We got Shyne Poe. Shyne Poe, that's how I pronounce the shit. G's up, hoes down, while you MF bounce to this. All right, shout out to Shyne. This is Shyne Burrell. He is Moses Shyne Burrell. He is now a member of the, I can't remember what his job is down in Belize, but this is Shyne speaking out about the Diddy arrest. He says he destroyed my life. For context, Shyne was an 18, 19-year-old rapper on the label Bad Boy. He basically became popular because he sounded like the Notorious B.I.G. after his death. Now, he only sounded like him because of the voice and the cadence of his lyrics. But he was already signed to the label prior to Biggie's death, I believe. Maybe not. And he was present at the shooting in the 1999 shooting, nightclub shooting, where they say Diddy was the shooter. Now, that's what they say. Even the victim that got shot said Diddy was the one shooting. Now, it is also alleged that the burner was brought in by J-Lo, which women typically do. They put the gun in their purse. So Shyne was a rapper. He had already put out a single, and he was going to become big and famous under the Bad Boy label. He took the fall. He took the fall. He served 10 years in prison, and he's saying Diddy was the shooter, not me. So as you guys hear that now, let's get what Shyne has to say about this some 25 years later.
I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship. Yes, I forgave, I moved on, but let us not pretend as if I was in Miami for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, I saw you spent a birthday with him once.
I
saw a birthday cake.
I went again to do a charity event for impoverished youth in London. So let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life and who I forgave and who I moved on, and for the better interest of Belize, because he was in a position at that time to give scholarships and to maybe invest. I would not deny attempting to bring the investment to Belize and to bring the contributions to education to Belize, but don't distort it as if, you know, he and I were boom ballet. This is someone that destroyed my life, but do I take any joy or any satisfaction with what he is going through? Absolutely not. I am different than maybe other people. No one needs to fail for me to succeed.
When he was an instrumental part of promoting you through Revolt Media.
All right, let me stop right there. Y'all did just laughing at Shyne's accent. All of a sudden, he's speaking the King's English in Me No Black Poppy. All right, yes, he had a Brooklyn accent. This tells you, I've been telling you about gangster rap for a long time, gentlemen. It is pretty fraudulent. It's like the World Wrestling Federation. For you young guys, let me show you who Shyne really is. And I love the Shyne Obama shit going around. Here we go right here. This is going to be Shyne that we know of. This is the Shyne we know about right here.
Now tell me who wanna fuck with us. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I bang and let your fucking brains hang. Snitches, fuck all the maple bitches with riches who carry 22s up in they hosiery. A black teller when my father bustin' and loaded me. Think he just finished sniffing the key and dipping the D's. Don't hate me. Hate Nicky Barnes for hitting my mom's letting the condom pop.
Nigga, I was born in a drop. Coke boiling a pot. Shake the feds and bust shots at them street cops. All right, that's Shyne that we know right there on the Bad Boy label. And you can hear his voice. He does sound like Biggie, right? That's kind of how he popped off. He had a familiar cadence in the delivery and the deep voice, sounding kind of like Biggie at the end of his life. So, yeah.
A black teller when my father bustin'.
I mean, that's what people accused him of initially, but that's Shyne, all right, just so you guys know. And now he is a politician in Belize, and this is him now.
I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison.
All right, so there he is right there, Shyne Obama. Shout out to Shyne. He's one of my favorite rappers. All right, I love Shyne, man. Shout out to Shyne. But the accent, brother, yeah, a lot of people wasn't ready for that. A lot of people wasn't ready for that. He said that was his rapper voice. Yeah, I mean, everybody sounds American when they sing and rap. You know, that's what English sounds like. But he put on a whole facade of a kind of a Brooklyn inside gangster. But everybody knew he was a Carrie Bean. He's a Carrie Bean. All right, but anyway, that's Shyne. Here we go. Guys, what I will tell you is rap is World Wrestling Federation. Rap is like the WWE. I wouldn't believe any of that shit. Let's continue here. That's for your health, gentlemen. That's for your mental health. Rap is not exactly real. All right, what do we got here? We have a story here. I don't know if this is true. It says the FBI is reportedly investigating the Kardashians for allegedly drugging prominent men to acquire critical documents for personal gain and blackmail. Now the Kardashians are being dragged into this. Boy, there's going to be a lot of payoffs right here. In footage obtained from Diddy's raid, Kim Kardashian is allegedly caught in activities that are expected to send shockwaves. And, well, we don't know if this is true, but of course the agents of chaos are busy. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they were involved in some wild shit as well. Also selling pussy, allegedly. But now we have this. They're throwing us all over the place. And if Diddy knows his best, he's probably going to buy a rope at Walmart before he walked in there. And or that ninja going to snitch on everybody. All right, goodness gracious. This is going to be the biggest uncovering of information that we've ever seen. All right, so what do we got next? Diddy labeled as bad as Epstein by Homeland Security officers, calling him a serial predator. And it says right here, this is important to what Dr. Umar is going to say. The Homeland Security agents who raided Diddy Combs' Miami mansion in March of 2024 have drawn disturbing comparisons between him and the late Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm not going to say what race, what people. We know I can't say that.
One officer involved in the raid declared to the New York Post, in my opinion, he is as bad as Epstein, returning to the notorious financier convicted of sex trafficking before his 2019 death. All right, but they said during the raid, agents discovered in Combs' home specifically designed for sex parties he called freak-offs. These rooms were reportedly filled with sex toys, bondage equipment, lingerie draws, and hidden cameras, plus bottles of baby oil. According to the Homeland Security source, if you have these sex parties, you were being recorded from every possible angle, including angles you wouldn't have known about. Interesting. All right. Then it said the federal indictment details that many of the women at these parties were either barely legal or barely illegal. All right. The agent further explains that some victims appeared drugged and were coerced into sex acts with male prostitutes, while Combe allegedly watched and even touched himself. We have evidence that these women didn't feel like they were free to go. All right, so here we go right here. Let's stop it right there. This leads us to Dr. Umar. Now that we know possibly what might be happening behind the scenes here, and if you went to a Diddy party, you on tape. So that's why they raided it. This is what Dr. Umar has to say in defense of Diddy. Yes, in defense of Diddy.
Sean Puffy Combs' federal charges have little, if anything, to do with domestic abuse or pedophilia. His major sex crime federally is he's being accused of transporting women across state lines to engage in sex. What we call prostitution. Not Casey, not the freak-offs, not underage girls, but prostitution. Why am I bringing this up? Because I don't support prostitution either. I do not support men paying for the sugar box. I do not support black women having to sexually exploit their sugar box in order to pay their bills. With that being said, prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. Prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. Prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. It is the sexual trafficking that Sean Puffy Combs is being accused of.
All right, let me stop it right here. All right, so you see where this is going. Interesting enough, I'm not sure. I didn't hear any who-ish people defending Epstein.
I'm not going to say what race, what people. We know I can't say that.
So when you do have a guy right here like Diddy getting prosecuted by this, and they're probably getting testimonies and showing up with photos and still photos of shit. All right, I don't know. Somebody do want to die on this hill. I always tell you to pick a battle. Pick your battles and pick them wisely. This guy's in trouble. He's messed with the wrong people. Now, he's saying the case is about prostitution, which, yes, is sex trafficking, which I say a lot of these people were volunteers, not victims. But, of course, the Department of Homeland Security, they see otherwise. They're looking at the tapes. They're saying these women were not free to leave. Right? Andrew Tate was being accused of something similar, but he's provided evidence to say to the contrary. All right, but that's what they're getting him for. They're Andrew Tating him. And they're saying these women, even if they were prostitutes, were still drugged against their will and kept against their will. Now, Dr. Umar is saying otherwise, where they were paid to be there. And that's the source of the investigation. And it's true. All right. I don't think anybody would deny that that's a part of the deal. And they're enacting the Mann Act to go against him, which they went against Ghislaine Maxwell and R. Kelly and Charlie Chaplin and Jack Johnson and Chuck Berry and many other people. So that's what they're using, but they're also trying to use other things to be able to show that these women were against their will, which does beg the question that when people do it and it's not against their will, it's not a crime. So if you fly a woman in, while Boosie was saying flying a woman in, does that make it a crime? Possibly. But I don't think they'll prosecute you if the woman did it and it wasn't against her will, if she did it on her own volition. So if she says, yes, I volunteered for this, and yes, this happened, so I'm not going to prosecute. They may not prosecute you for that. I don't think anybody's getting prosecuted for that. So let's see what Dr. Umar has to say in addition to that. He's saying the case only has nothing to do with minors. Okay. I don't know about that. There has been indications that minors were involved. Okay, but now we're on the free Diddy. I'm never going to be on the free Diddy bandwagon. All right. But we're talking about there certainly are indicators that there were minors there. All right, for sure. But let's continue with Dr. Umar and let's dig deep into this pause.
Not domestic abuse, not freak-offs, not stomping out Cassie, not engaging in sex with underage women. It is interstate sexual trafficking. That is the charge.
That is the charge. I mean, that's true. All right, that is the charge. However, once they got there, were they of age? Were they of the age of consent wherever they went? That's number one. Number two, were they drugged? So anybody making this case about women, all right, they're doing this to protect women. False. I don't think they are doing this to protect women. I think they're doing this because somebody dropped a dime on Diddy. Somebody dropped a dime and they knew it. And if anybody wants to know that did Diddy get snitched on, the answer is yes. He got snitched on. Why do I say that? Because they raided his house looking for something specific. Video footage, surveillance videos. They're looking for these details. So somebody had to know that these details were there. Maybe it was Cassie. Maybe it was the the DJ, the producer, Little Rod. Somebody snitched. Maybe it was the guys that were on the tape. Maybe there were guys that were on the tape with the minors because in the Epstein tape, right, there were, once they started investigating him, they found Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton. They found a whole bunch of people on them tapes and them still photos. All right, so, and that went bye-bye. So somebody snitched to let them know that, yes, they recorded all of these freak-offs, so somebody on these tapes. Could it also have been, yeah, there was a whole people on them tapes. But the people that were involved in the lawsuit that he had against, which we'll look up here, we'll look up because people are connecting the dots. Maybe it was them people that knew they went to them freak-offs and they had barely legal or barely illegal women there, and they said, hey, he's suing us, so let's drop the dime on him. Okay, so anyway, somebody dropped the dime on him right there.
Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up, please God, because when I listen to the news, they're not talking about the evidence against Sean Puffy Combs. When I listen to the news, they're not talking about the evidence of Sean Puffy Combs. When I listen to the news, I have yet to hear anybody give me a specific piece of interstate sex trafficking evidence against Sean Puffy Combs.
Let me stop him right there. All right, I disagree, Dr. Umar. There is evidence of some potential interstate sex trafficking, and I'm going to tell you right here, all right, based on what I know, if you take a person from state to state, ocean to ocean, busting nuts while the tour bus keeps coasting, shout out to AMG. If you take a person from state to state, city to city, and cross state lines, and then hire prostitutes and have a party and pay, and that is going to be sex trafficking. All right, so that would be Cassie being sex trafficked just by itself. That's all the information I have. They can charge you at that point if they believe Cassie would probably provide details to that. That would be sex trafficking. Now, I don't agree with it, but that's by the letter of the law, by her testimony. She could say, I didn't want to do it. I was only doing it for him. We did 2 lines of 2C. I did it just to please him, but I couldn't get away. That gonna be sex trafficking by itself. Now, if you involve anybody else in that, and anybody else could come and testify that that is indeed that what happened, well, you got a problem there. So I disagree with him that there's no evidence of it. Cassie has receipts from hotel to hotel. She has dates and all of that, and she has it documented in her own legal case. That would be sex trafficking by itself. Now, there's supposed to be thousands of people involved in this. Thousands of people involved in this. And so now we just know Cassie. We don't know the rest of the case. And this is funny. This is funny because I hear a lot of people defend other people and they say there's no evidence of, and I've heard no evidence. Well, here's the funny stuff. You're never going to hear the entire case being played out for you in the court of public opinion. Let's be honest. Like the feds, whoever's investigating, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the CIA, the DEA, they're never going to play the case out in the court of public opinion. They're never going to give you the details and evidence. They might leak some footage here and there, like the beatdown Cassie took was a purposeful leak, just to flip the support from the little bit of support Diddy had from the case dropping, the Cassie case dropping, and he still had a little bit of support. Then they released that videotape, and it was like, well, there's no more support here. I can't support this. So they purposefully leaked that just to get the people to really flip on Diddy and be like, oh, he really done. But nobody has any evidence. You don't have the evidence related to any case. So when people jump on the internet, where's the evidence? You ain't going to have the evidence. You won't know what the evidence is unless you're looking at all the investigation material, the court docs, the videotapes, whatever they have, and they will build a case. All right, so they're going to build the case. So for Dr. Umar to say, where's the evidence, brother, you ain't part of the investigation team. I mean, you don't know nothing at this point to be able to say, where's the evidence? Here we go.
I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it for the low political IQ Negroes. I'm going to say it for the average political IQ Negroes. And I'm going to say it for the high IQ Negroes. I haven't seen or heard a single piece of evidence against Sean Puffy Gomes. I ain't read it in the New York Times. I ain't read it in the Philadelphia Inquirer. I ain't heard it on CNN. I ain't seen it on headline news.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, the evidence will not be there. The public does not need evidence. This is why they play things out in court. So you're not going to see it on headline news or CNN or the New York Times or the Philadelphia Inquirer. We're never going to see it. And let me just be honest with you. We'll never have the details of the case unless they have cameras in the courtroom, which I will 100% bet they won't. All right. They don't want any of this information out to the normies. This is going to be a very, very graphic court case. So I'm going to bet that they don't have any cameras in the courthouse, but I may be surprised. So if you're waiting for the evidence to be presented in front of you on the mainstream normies, you're out of your mind.
Where is the evidence that Sean Puffy Combs engaged in interstate sex trafficking?
Guys, man, I think anybody at this point could be engaging in interstate sex trafficking. Somebody was mentioning if you even put a woman in the Uber and you pay for the Uber, right, and it goes 500 meters, you could be engaging in sex trafficking. I mean, sex trafficking is a very vague and loose term. It is hard to figure out what it is. Pimps are getting years, like 30 years for sex trafficking. So you can get got. Now, we don't hear these cases all the time. I try to present as many small cases that you never hear about. But guys, people are getting slam dunked on sex trafficking. They're getting dunked on sex trafficking. So you can build a case against really anybody on sex trafficking. But that's the difficulty of it. Even the JUCO and all of that shit. You can build a case for anybody on it, and he's asking for evidence. Let's continue.
I keep hearing about Cassie when I turn on the news. Why are we hearing about Cassie when Cassie has nothing to do with the federal indictment?
That's not true, all right? That is false. Oh, my goodness. That's going to be false. I mean, this is a bad one. This is a bad hill to die on, bro. Cassie literally put the case in motion. All right. And they're using lots of the evidence that she provided. And she don't even have to testify at this point. Her testimony is her filing. So she certainly has something to do with it. I don't know what we missed here, but this is way off. This is a miss, a swing and a miss. She does have something to do with it. They're probably going to try to get her to testify in this case. She more likely will. And she might not even have a choice. Once you are subpoenaed, you might have to provide some information or at least be part of a deposition. She might have been part of the grand jury investigation. All right. But my goodness, she will be the main piece. She's the main chess piece regarding the sex trafficking. But I'm pretty sure there's more. Let's continue.
I don't think any black man should have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I don't think any black man needs 1,000 bottles of baby oil. But I haven't seen anywhere in federal law where owning 1,000 bottles of baby oil is a federal crime.
Well, I don't think he's being prosecuted for that. That's just more information being slipped out to embarrass him, right? To set the table and set the narrative that this guy was a predator, right? In many ways. And people had talked about it way before the Cassie case. So this is not a secret. Let's continue.
Brothers and sisters, are you with me so far?
No.
Brothers and sisters, are you with me so far?
No.
Do you understand, overstand, and understand what the most requested black scholar in the world is saying right now?
No.
Do you understand and overstand and understand what the most requested black scholar in the world is saying right now?
No.
Do you understand, overstand, and understand what the premier Pan-Africanist on the planet is saying to you right now?
No.
Baby oil is not a federal crime. Stomping out Cassie, he was not charged with a crime.
Okay, that's true. He was not charged with stomping out Cassie, although there is videotape of him stomping her out, and there is evidence that he may have purchased that from the security team and hid it away. It's not a crime he's going to be prosecuted for, but the Fedi Gov got the case now. The local jurisdiction said they did not press charges. So, yeah, I don't know, bruh. This is the wrong hill to die for, man. I'm going to tell you, bruh. This is the wrong battle. This is the wrong battle, fam. I'm going to let this shit slide.
The freak-offs are not crimes. So why do we keep hearing about Cassie? Why do we keep hearing about baby oil? Why do we keep hearing about freak-offs? Where are the federal charges, and why are the charges being sealed?
Where are the federal charges? He's been charged federally. The charges are being sealed to probably protect witnesses. I mean, I'm just throwing some shit out. I don't know. I don't have the details. I mean, I can make a whole YouTube career of getting the details. I guess I could dig them up if you want. It would require me to read a lot of documents here, but the documents are sealed, so I think it would possibly be because of witnesses. In fact, one of the reasons he was not granted bail or bond was because he could be potentially engaging in witness tampering, right? That's one of the things they're worried about, is that once he gets out, he would have enough influence money and people will still be scared of him that he could be potentially be tampering with witnesses. So, you know, since the docs are sealed, Diddy probably knows who's doing the talking, and he knows who's going to be possibly on the tapes. So that means he's out running free. Even with an ankle monitor, he'd be out here making calls and making moves and pointing fingers. All right, so anyway, I think I got some more here from this brother. He's out here giving us some enlightenment here.
Why did the feds seal the charges against Sean Puffy Combs? I'm going to tell you one reason why the feds sealed the charges against Sean Puffy Combs.
Why?
One of the biggest reasons they sealed the charges against Sean Puffy Combs is because the evidence is probably weak.
The evidence is probably weak. Okay, I mean, I'm saying I don't know. Probably because, listen, when the federal government comes with a case, we have to understand, and I showed you the data, their conviction rate is extremely high. One of the reasons their conviction rate is extremely high is because they don't bring bad cases forward. They bring slam dunks. And typically the people who are on the opposing side, they will cop a plea. They will actually plead guilty to a charge lesser than that, serve their time, and move away. They don't waste time. The federal government does not waste time. They only take the best cases. That's number one. Number two reason why they typically have a high conviction rate is because of that they don't bring weak cases. All right, they normally tighten up their case and they get people to buckle. All right, so if you do defend yourself, you're highly likely not going to beat it. There's been very few people that beat their federal government case. All right, the number one I can think of is Murder Inc. All right, Murder Inc. and what's the guy named Irv Gotti. Now, Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. beat the feds, which is a big win. They beat them. So they had a case and won, but it destroyed them. it destroyed their future. So they won and lost at the same time, but it's better than serving years in the federal pen. So there are some people that beat the federal government. All right, but once they bring a case, people normally be like, yeah, you got too much on me. Or your case too good, and you cop out. So for him to be saying, why are they bringing the case and sealing the documents? They don't have a tight case. Just give them time. They'll have a case. All right, here we go right here.
The evidence is probably weak. And
some people are saying NBA young boy. All right, so there are cases of people beating them, but it's very rare.
Because the evidence is probably weak that he is guilty of interstate sex trafficking, and because the evidence is probably weak that he is guilty of interstate sex trafficking, they had to seal the charges. They had to hide the charges from you and I. They had to hide the charges from you and I long enough for the public execution to be carried out. Sean Puffy Combs's federal charges have little, if anything, to do with domestic abuse or pedophilia. His major sex crime federally is he's being accused of transporting women across state lines.
Is he in front of his school? I think he's in front of his abandoned school right there. But yeah, I mean, these are outrageous claims at this particular point. I would have to ask why the defense of this guy. I mean, I'm not trying to say he's guilty. All right, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. All right, but you know, it is one of these things where it's like, you know, listen, what is the major defense? Is it because he's a black man, right? Are you using the black man defense that they're trying to ruin another black man? Well, I understand that. I can understand that. I would stay away from this. I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. All right, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I was on the side of Bill Cosby. I thought he was getting railroaded. I thought that case was being trumped up. All right, not to say that he never drugged anybody, but I thought that even a lot of the women have come out after the fact and they had no case at all. So I was very vigilant by saying the Bill Cosby case seems a little weird to me. And as a result, he's out of prison, right? So I was somewhat right about that. There was something wrong with that case in the way it was presented and the way evidence was allowed to be presented. Diddy, on the other hand, there had already been rumors about what he was doing and also some other connections to other crimes that have been committed that he has been implicated in. He hasn't been charged with it, but he's been implicated. He's been around for 30 years. Everybody knew what he was up to. Do you think that Dr. Umar has a right to defend Diddy? All right, do you guys think Dr. Umar, and I'll put a poll up, would you defend Diddy like Dr. Umar is defending? Umar is defending. All right, there we go right there. Let's get to these super chats, man. This is wild. What a wild time. All right, poll is up right there. Or would you be defending Diddy right now? Would you be openly coming out? And for what reason? I would love to know for what reason. The only thing I would defend Diddy is saying he's innocent until proven guilty. All right, that's my only defense. Innocent until proven guilty. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. But to say he's a victim of something, somebody brought up the case, the lawsuit. Let me see if I can pull this up. All right, we're going down a rabbit hole here. All right, and then all of a sudden, I'll have a federal case. All right, here we go right here. All right, so this is the lawsuit that people are talking about here. This is of, let's see if I can pull this up. You won't see a good picture of it, but this is reported by the AP and reported on January 16th, 2024. So this is almost a year ago. All right, we're talking about 9 months ago. And it says right here, Sean Diddy Combs and the Diageo, if I'm pronouncing it right, settled their lawsuit. And it says right here, withdraws lawsuit in case that accuses Diageo of racism. Somebody get the pronunciation of that company for me. So this is the lawsuit that they think made Puffy really go backwards here. This is, again, January 16, 2024. When was the Cat Williams interview? Where was the Cat Williams interview? Because he called it. Everything will be exposed in 2024. All right, 10% of people are with this defense. It says rapper and entertainer Diddy Combs has withdrawn his lawsuit against the company as part of a settlement with the London-based Spirit Company, and they have now agreed to resolve all disputes between them, the two parties said in a statement. And it says, hold up. The company is now the sole owner of Ciroc Vodka and De Leon Tequila, two brands Combs had promoted in the past, and has no business relationship with Combs going forward. Just so you guys know, a lot of people thought that Sean Combs owned Ciroc. All right, so this is a lot of things being exposed and shown for you. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody. Did you guys think that that was his own personal brand, Ciroc, that he owned it, that he cultivated, created it, he came up with the taste? He came up with the mixed batch. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of people that are said to be a part of something don't actually own it. You might be a marketing brand deal. A lot of people, and somebody give me the name of this. If I come up, let's just say I came up with a dry rub. If I came out with a dry rub for my ribs, do you guys know that there's already people that actually have dry rubs that I can just sign a brand marketing deal, and I can put my picture, my face, I can take pictures and say, I can say, this is my dry rub, right? This is mine. And everybody can be like, Coach came up with something, but there's already brands that have things that you could just slap your face in. Not technically a brand ambassador. There's another name for this. There's another name for this where I think like you basically just take something that's always been produced and you become the owner of that. You just basically take it, but you might not even own it or own a piece of it. It's Diageo. Shout out to you. Label slapping is the name of it, but there's other names for it where Black Label. That's the name of it. Black or White Label. That's the name I was looking for. Thank you for the guys. Brand ambassador, but Black Label. So white labeling. You basically have a label on it, and you basically take the label off and put your label on it. All right, but you never came up with the recipe, the ingredients. You never came up with the taste or any of that. So you just basically white label, black label it. A lot of people on social media do this. All right, so they will say, I came up with X, Y, and Z. Well, all they did was just remove the label and put their label on it. Right? That's all that happened. And that is happening all along. And you might think that this person owned it, came up with it, cultivated, but they only own a percentage of it or anything like that. Same with clothes. Same with clothes. This is my clothing line. And they just black labeling it or white labeling it. Is it black or white? All right, I don't know. But Sean Combs, it says right here, he signed a deal to promote Ciroc in 2007, and then he purchased De Leon with Diageo in 2013. And he says the neglect worsened after the company bought two competing tequila brands. So he signed a promotional deal, then purchased something, a part of it, in 2013, but that company then bought two competing tequila deals, which were Don Julio in 2014 and Casamigos in 2017. So then Diddy's like, wait a minute, you're boxing me out. Then the company owned more than 200 brands, including Guinness Beer and Tanqueray Gin. Holy mackerel. All right, so this is a large company. All right. Yeah, the George Foreman grill is an example of white labeling. Even Hulk Hogan said they tried to get him first, and he declined it. But George Foreman is an example of this white labeling, if you will. All right, so the product was already done and finished. They just needed a brand ambassador. They just needed a name. All right, so yeah, looks like the company then, you own 200 brands. I don't know why he's pissed, but he's basically saying I'm going to lose value. So they boxed him out. Very clever way to box him out. Basically devalue his company. And they devalued his company after he bought into it. All right, so that's pretty clear. All right, that's what he was pissed at. He signed a deal to promote it. Then he bought it, and then they immediately bought 2 competing brands. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I would be pissed off too. All right, that definitely is a messed up situation. And then he alleged that the company was engaging in racism. In court filings, Combs said the company's leadership told him race was one of the reasons it limited distribution to urban neighborhoods. Well, I'm going to tell you. That brand probably was going to urban neighborhoods anyway. So I don't know if he has a case there. And then he claims he was also told that the leadership resented him for making too much money. Well, you uppity nigger. Yeah, I mean, he has a case there. They denied these claims in a legal filing. They accused Combs of resorting to false and reckless allegations in an effort to extract additional billions from the company, a.k.a. pick your battles. All right, pick your battles, you uppity nigger. All right, that's basically what they said right there. And so now this is the connection people are making to why his lawsuit is now happening. Do you agree? So we got most people agreeing with Dr. Umar. Not most. We have 10% of people or 11% of people agreeing with Dr. Umar. Let me stretch this out a little bit more. Do you think, let me end the poll. Shout out to the 11% of people that are riding with Diddy right now. Hopefully you guys are going to be on the right side of history. Do you think this lawsuit was a result? Do you think this lawsuit led to Diddy's issues? He pissed off the wrong people. Go ahead and vote that on the poll, and I'll do the super chats. That is the main event. With this clip, check me out on the Free Agent Lifestyle channel for the best morning live stream every weekday. And of course, we're back for the evening live streams as well. Check out the times in the featured channels on this channel right here. And also the links are in the description box. I will see you there.
New world order.